What's good, people? Thank you as always for passing by the channel, much appreciated. Hit that subscribe button if you guys are new. All right, I spent today doing a few things, but one of the few things I did decide to do today was watch an IFL TV interview. I haven't watched one for a long time. Not hating on them at all. I think they put in fucking serious legwork, like serious legwork. Respect to Kugan Cassius and the boys. What's going on with James Helder? I haven't seen him, I don't think, in an IFL TV. Not that I watch too much of it, but I'm pretty sure, is he done? Is he left? Strange, right? Because I just think of IFL, I think of Kugan and James. So when I'm saying all these other names now associated with them, it doesn't seem right. But there is the other kid that I think is doing a good job. I can't remember his name. I think he's Asian, but he's doing a good job. Good interviewer. But anyway, I decided today, after that tangent, to watch Dillian Whyte sit down. Dillian Whyte is definitely starting to grow on me. He's a character. I love characters. He really is a fucking character. Honestly, he could be in the WWE. He's that much of a character. He's an improved boxer. He is in my top 5, 6, maybe. Yeah, the top 5, top 6 in terms of a heavyweight boxer. I actually think, aside from, and people are going to call me crazy as usual here, but aside from Tyson Fury and Ortiz, I don't know why, I just think Ortiz beats him comfortably. Again, crazy, right? I think he causes problems to Wilder and Joshua, like this Dillian Whyte, because just because he looks stronger, he seems to be a bit more composed, he's less reckless, and that left hook is awful. That left hook is something dangerous. Anyway, so I was sitting down watching this interview, and obviously he was talking about the Chisora stuff, but I was more interested in terms of going forward. What's next for him? And I guess what's next for him is, in the same sentence, what's next for Anthony Joshua, right? That seems to be the favourite. So if you went to the bookies, I think that would be the odds-on favourite for April 13th at Wembley. Dillian Whyte doesn't think so. Dillian Whyte doesn't think so. It's weird because I just have this impression of Eddie Hearn being on the phone to Dillian Whyte every single day. But obviously Eddie Hearn's a very, very busy businessman. But Dillian Whyte says he has a meeting with Eddie Hearn, and that's not scheduled, I think he said, until the end of the month. I think he said, 2 or 3 weeks time. And in his mind, that's not enough time to then go through negotiations and then prepare for an AJ fight. So he almost is starting to think that he's not in the reckoning. Whereas we think he's the favourite, just because we know it's not going to be Wilder and Fury and there isn't really anyone else. He doesn't think he's going to get that fight, which makes me start thinking, okay, who is going to get that fight? Anthony Joshua has to have a fight soon, right? He has to have a fight this year. He's a big commodity. He needs to work. I mean, that's his business. His business is boxing. And we're led to believe, or we know for a fact, that there's an April date scheduled in. April 13th, Wembley is supposed to happen, right? I don't know how, and I'm guessing it's not that difficult to get out of that contract with Wembley, but that's what we are led to believe, that Anthony Joshua will fight April 13th, Wembley. And the funny thing is, I remember when Eddie Hearn done this, and I think it was June or July, where he kind of said, okay, we have 2 fixed dates for Joshua, September and April. And I remember thinking, how dumb is that? Like, I get it, you're super confident, but how can you book a 90,000 seater stadium when you're not 100% sure of the opponent? Like, it doesn't make sense to me, if I'm honest with you. But he did it anyway, and now I think there's a fuck up, right? Now there's a big fuck up. We don't have an opponent. As big as AJ is, and for me, he's still fucking enormous, he needs a dance partner. He needs a dance partner now. I think for them to say we're going to do Wembley Stadium again, he needs a good B-side. Don't get me wrong. I think AJ could still sell 60, 70,000 comfortably. I think he can do that. But to get to that topper echelon, the 90,000, I think he needs a dance partner. And the fact is, there aren't many dance partners around. There isn't. You go through the list of potential ones, especially when you remove Wilder and Fury from it. I don't know if people have that much interest. And the funny thing is, I think Eddie Hearn, and credit to Eddie Hearn, I think he realizes that Joshua's got a massive casual fan base, so he could easily chuck in Dillian Whyte. He could do that. And I think the casual fan base will be okay with it. I think he's almost trying to appease the hardcore fan base now, who are like, we've seen that fight already. We kind of don't want that fight. And I think that's what's the problem. We've seen it. And no disrespect, again, no discredit to Dillian Whyte, who I think is almost deserving now of a world title shot. I really do. I think Parker and Derek Chisora, I think he is deserving. But we've seen it, right? So I think the rumor, and Dylan White mentioned this, and I mentioned this as well, is that April date gets scrapped. There is no more April date. Again, they hope that maybe Calm Brook could fill it so they don't have to, I don't know, forego all the issues of Wembley Stadium. But right now, I think there is a very, 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 how many varies was that? 3 or 4? Good chance that we see Anthony Joshua versus Jarrell Miller in America. Madison Square Garden. There's been a lot of wait for Anthony Joshua to make his American appearance, right? He's been on the chat shows now. It's okay, let's see you in America. That's the biggest market. I hate to admit it as a Brit, but America is the biggest market. They want AJ over there. He's done the chat shows. We've seen that now. And it's a case of, okay, go to America. And I think that's what they want to do. They want to see Anthony Joshua against a loud-mouthed, big American, Jarrell Miller, in Madison Square Garden. And I believe that's going to happen. I truly believe that on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being fucking possible, 10 being likely, I think that's a 6.5. That's quite high. That Anthony Joshua will fight Jarrell Miller in America and not Dillian White at Wembley. I really do believe that. I've been saying I want Anthony Joshua to fight in America. I don't know why. I've been saying I want Anthony Joshua to go over to America. I want the American public to know who he is. I want them to see this destructive, powerful force and be like, whoa. Is Jarrell Miller a good opponent for AJ? Yeah. Jarrell Miller is big. He will sell the fight. AJ probably won't. So it's a good opponent. But again, it leaves Dillian White with questions, right? If I'm Dillian White, a conversation with Eddie Hearn needs to happen, right? I was mandatory. Was he not for Deontay Wilder's title shot? That's not happening. And now I put myself in a position where I'm going to get AJ. That doesn't like it's going to happen. Can Eddie Hearn secure me a title shot? That's what I want now. I've earned money. I've earned millions in my last 2 fights. I want a world title shot. I don't think Eddie Hearn can secure it for him, which is interesting. But guys, look, what do you think? What's more probable? Jarrell Miller, Anthony Joshua in America, or Anthony Joshua, Dillian White at Wembley? Right now, I think I will side with Jarrell Miller, Anthony Joshua at MSG instead of Dillian White versus Anthony Joshua at Wembley. That's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Let me know. Peace.